We're now going to talk about the Third and the Fourth Amendment. The Third Amendment is really quick. It's something, it seems so random today, but what it states is that the military cannot house soldiers in our homes without our permission. I don't think we've ever worried before that some Army guy's going to show up one night, knock on our door, and say, "Hey, I need a place to stay, and you have to take them in." It's all about context here. And remember, they're writing this in 1790. In 1790, it was much more important because they remembered something called the Quartering Act. So, this is before the United States became a country when we were still under control of the British. There were a few times where King George forced colonists to house and feed members of the British Army. So they were thinking about this and they're like, "Oh, you remember that one time we had to take in those soldiers into our homes and give them meals?" And they're still upset about it. And they're like, "This is never going to happen again." So they passed the Third Amendment so that this could never happen again. Honestly, we don't hear about this anymore. We don't think about it. But at the time, it was important. An amendment that is more relative is the Fourth. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Translation here: the government/police cannot search our homes, our cars, our storage units, whatever, without a search warrant. So let's talk about what a search warrant is and how the police get one of these search warrants. So a search warrant is it's a legal document from a judge. That's the key there. The police don't write up their own warrants. They have to go to a judge, allowing the police to enter into your house, your car, your storage unit, and look for particular items. So search warrants are very, very particular. They have to explain what exactly they're searching. Like, is it a house? Is it a car? Is it both? Everything has to be listed on that document and what they're looking for. So, what the police do to get a warrant is they first must gather evidence. So, let's say the police suspect someone is building bombs in their basement. So, they're not just going to go to the judge and say, "Hey, judge, we think this guy on such and such street is building bombs." They have to show evidence that this person could be doing this. So in the case of this, maybe they've followed him to Home Depot or someplace and watched or videoed him building things that commonly can go into bombs. Maybe they have undercover people that have followed him around to others that he's trying to sell the bombs to. I'm making stuff up. Maybe they've gone through his trash out on the curb and found bomb making materials. So they gather evidence. When they think they have enough, they go to the judge. They say, "Judge, this is what we have." And the judge either signs the warrant or the judge can choose not to sign the warrant. The judge might say, "You know what? You don't have enough evidence to go in and search this person's home." So they would have to go back out and find more. But if they do get the evidence, now the police can legally come into your house. And it's kind of sometimes like in the movies where they kick down the front door and they storm in to search for that stuff. Have to get a warrant. If the police don't get a warrant and search, anything found cannot be used against you in court. So police are getting warrants. So here's a situation that let's talk about the Fourth Amendment at school. And this is what I brought up at the end of the hour today. And this actually happened. This ended up in the Supreme Court. A 14-year-old freshman in a New Jersey high school was caught smoking in the bathroom by a teacher. The teacher took them down to the principal's office. The girl denied she had been smoking. Principal demands the student hand over her purse. Student did. Principal discovers not only cigarettes, but also a small amount of drugs, large amounts of cash, and an index card with the names of people who owed her money. The principal immediately calls the police. She was convicted or found guilty of dealing drugs. She was expelled from the school and fined $1,000. Question for you guys is, did the principal have the right to search her purse? That was her private property. So this happened in real life, and she ended up suing, and this made its way to the Supreme Court. This is what the Supreme Court ruled. They ruled yes, the principal could search her purse. And here's the why. First of all, the school originally had a reasonable suspicion that she had cigarettes in her purse because she had been caught smoking. So this teacher caught the kid smoking. Kid had the purse with them. So it's reasonable to think that inside the purse might be cigarettes. So that's the first part. The second part is this. Then when they searched the purse, they opened it up. Remember, they're just looking for cigarettes, but they found drugs in the purse. And by opening up the purse looking for cigarettes, they saw the drugs, which were called in plain view, meaning they were right there. Okay, it's not like there was some secret compartment. And at that point in time, because they were in plain view, they could proceed and call the police and go after her legally for dealing drugs at school.